Good afternoon, daylight savings time. And welcome to school committee's meeting of March 19th, 2026. I will call the meeting to order at 5:49 p.m. We are very sorry. We've had a few technical difficulties over here. So we are going to begin with the owl, and then we will see when WinCam comes on. Okay, so our agenda this evening will begin with public comment. Then we'll have remarks from the superintendent, chair, and student representatives. We will have a consent agenda. We are pulling item A on the Portland Museum. So the consent agenda will just consist of consideration of acceptance of $1,600 from the Winchester Rotary Club for the WHS Combat Robotics Club. Then we have reports and action items, including consideration of the summative evaluation for the superintendent and the evaluation cycle. We have a spring town meeting update with an article to support literacy curriculum implementation for 2026-2027. And then consideration of policy updates, including policies with no changes, policies with MASC updates. Actually, let me just back up. Under the policies with no changes, we will pull item IMA. And then we have policies with MASC updates and policies for addition, policies for deletion, and then those will all be for consideration. And then we have first reading of policies from the policy subcommittee. And those are policies with MASC updates and for addition and for deletion. And then we'll have next meetings followed by adjournment. So with that, we'll go back to public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment and move on to remarks from the superintendent.
I will yield my time.
Okay.
Thank you. It's enough for me tonight.
No.
So.
All right, that's right. First off, we'll just make an announcement for we have our Unit D negotiations starting up, and Dr. Matthews will serve as our Unit D school committee representative. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
If you have not seen it yet, please check out the FY27 budget book. Mr. Marin had sent that out. It is on the district website. Our FY26 version was award-winning, and this one is equally comprehensive, clear, and accessible. Also, let's see. Election is this Saturday at Winchester High School. The polls will open at 7 a.m. and they will close at 8 p.m. And lastly, very important evening this evening. It is the final evening for our member, Michelle Bergstrom, who served for 9 years. And I just wanted to say we really appreciate the service and dedication that you've had for the school committee and to the town and to students. So
thank you.
Just thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Get over. Thank you so much.
I am really. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And that's it for me. So I'll turn it over to our student rep, Ingo Lee.
Do you think I need the?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to recognize the incredible success of our spring musical, Chicago. Performances last weekend were completely sold out. And it was great to see such strong support from students, families, and the community. Spring sports tryouts also began this week. Today, us juniors had our financial literacy fair. We're very grateful to Dr. Spencer and Mr. Langlois for organizing this event, as well as to the many community members who volunteered their time to make it possible. Tomorrow, Winchester High School will hold its third blood drive of the year. There are still open donation slots, so we encourage anyone who is able to consider signing up. Looking ahead, ELI MCAS testing for all sophomores will take place next Tuesday and Wednesday. As the fourth quarter is coming soon, we're also seeing a record number of seniors projected to participate in internship experiences this spring, which is an exciting milestone for our school. In terms of upcoming events, the class of 2027 will host its class dance in the Dining Commons on Friday, March 27th. So I'm excited for that. Additionally, WHS Royals will take place on Sunday, March 29th at 7 p.m. This event is always a fun tradition and an important fundraiser in support of our senior class. Finally, we would like to congratulate several Winchester High School teams who competed this past weekend at the Massachusetts Science and Engineering Fair at Tufts University. The following contestants placed in the top 40 and will advance to the state competition: Alan Wang and Daniel Chen, Caleb Swilling and Lily Swilling, Eunice Wang, and Colleen He and Yvonne Lee. We'd also like to offer special congratulations to Caleb Swilling and Lily Swilling for receiving the Outstanding Medical Science Project Award, and to Colleen He and Yvonne Lee for earning the Joseph F. Torello Outstanding Chemistry Project Award. That's all.
Excellent. Many former VO students.
I would just hop on the musical. It was just unbelievable. And what blew me away is, like most high school musicals or performances, you get, kind of like three strong that carry it. Everyone does a good job, but it was just the number of kids who were just so super talented. It really was very impressive. So it was a great job.
Thanks to Ms. Chadla.
Yes.
For championing that for years.
Yeah, I loved it. Oh my gosh. Amazing. I saw it twice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks again.
All right, so we'll move on to our consent agenda. Tonight we just have consideration of acceptance of $1,600 from the Winchester Rotary Club.
I move that we accept the consent agenda item B as presented, with thanks to the Winchester Rotary Club for their contribution.
Second,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and the vote is unanimous. And thank you to the generosity of the Winchester Rotary Club. Next, we'll move on to reports and action items. This begins with the consideration of the summative evaluation for Dr. Hackett and the evaluation cycle. The school committee had decided to pursue a biannual cycle in recognition of his experience and also his tenure in the district. So I've taken the feedback from members and consolidated it into the summative evaluation for Dr. Hackett. And you have all received this in your binders. So let's see. So I will just read the overall, the opening overall section. So let's see. So we talked about moving to the biannual evaluation cycle, and in 2024, I had referenced some of the many challenges of his early years here, including the Lynch School Project, the elementary literacy study and report, developing a comprehensive data management system and strategic plan. The school committee at that time looked forward to his transforming the cultural issues and the direction that he would take the district. In 2026, we're witnessing the transformative results of his leadership and deep commitment to Winchester. The community celebrated the reopening of the Lynch Elementary School on time and within budget, with the ribbon cutting last year, followed by the return of students and staff to a net zero, state-of-the-art building. Dr. Hackett has worked painstakingly with the state, MSBA, and multiple boards in town during the planning, as well as with the complex logistics of moving an entire school into swing space for 2 years and then back. On the instructional side, the most significant work during this cycle is clearly the district's comprehensive review and redesign of the elementary literacy curriculum. In 2024, Dr. Hackett launched an elementary literacy team led by our educators to evaluate evidence-based programs and identify the most suitable options for Winchester student needs. As you know, teachers have been piloting 2 programs this year, and the literacy team will be bringing its final report to us shortly. Dr. Hackett will make his recommendation for full implementation that will take place in the fall, or full implementation beginning in the fall of 2026. Putting our teachers at the center of this process and being confident in their experience and judgment have helped to rebuild a culture of trust and buy-in from our staff, which we heard about from the piloteers at last November's mid-year literacy update. In addition, one of Dr. Hackett's long-standing goals has been implementing a comprehensive data management system to track and analyze student performance. The district has brought on the Open Architect platform, which houses the M-Class Dibble screener that provides immediate literacy data to teachers and families, along with targeted recommendations for supporting students. It also supports tracking assessments across subjects, including performance-based assessments, which strengthens the capacity for us to make, or for the district to make data-informed decisions. Finally, Dr. Hackett's leadership on the WPS 2030 strategic plan clearly shows his skills in long-term planning and fiscal management. The plan began to take shape in fall 2024 in work with the leadership team and the school committee. Dr. Hackett pushed the team to shift from traditional improvement plans toward more forward-thinking innovation plans that stretch over a longer time frame. In 2025, he and the committee spent countless hours developing priorities and a vision statement that now serve as a benchmark for reviewing district needs and funding prioritization. The outcome now is our 5-year strategic plan, financial roadmap, and scenarios that provide a clear framework for future investments and that serves the town's state-of-the-town work. Dr. Hackett's collaborative leadership, reflective approach, and commitment to developing his team are some of his greatest strengths. He successfully led negotiations with 3 units to date, including our teachers, and this was without legal intervention or any lost instruction time when many of our nearby communities were experiencing highly disruptive strikes. He communicates concepts clearly, as we saw in the FY26 digital budget book, that earned national recognition for its clarity, transparency, and user-friendliness. As a member writes, Dr. Hackett has demonstrated stable, thoughtful, and principled leadership, willingly confronting difficult issues, building collaborative solutions, and demonstrating commitment to both transparency and improvement. Another member noted, what I have come to appreciate most is his commitment to building capacity. He invests in people, develops and mentors staff and leaders, and works to strengthen systems so that progress can continue well beyond any single initiative. Important work still remains. The Morocco Elementary School has been invited into the eligibility phase of the MSBA building process. The district must continue to support staff while implementing the new literacy curriculum and balancing community expectations. Increasing engagement with all families, including those whose first language is not English, and reaching beyond the most vocal stakeholders will remain critical. Developing a cohesive strategy for educational technology and its impact on teaching and learning will strengthen the district's work. In summary, Dr. Hackett has met multiple complex challenges and established a strong foundation for the district's sustained success through WPS 2030. As we've said, as detailed throughout the evaluation, and there were many backup pages, Dr. Hackett embodies the kind of reflective and disciplined leadership that allows a strong school system not only to maintain excellence, but to keep improving. We, as a school committee, look forward to continuing the collaborative work and partnership with Dr. Hackett to strengthen our schools with a clear focus on the needs of our students and families. So with that, I would welcome any individual comments, if you would like to make something. Or if Dr. Hackett would like to say something.
Go ahead. I can sense that you're.
No, I.
No, go ahead.
Go.
Do you want Stephanie? You go first.
We're like passing.
I always have to go first.
None of you have to go.
And that is true, too.
It's a privilege we
It's-
reserve for the newest member.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with you this year, Dr. Hackett. Though I am a new member of this committee, we have worked together when I was part of the parent leadership in the community. But now that I'm working closely with school operations for the entire district, I have a greater newfound appreciation for your role and how lucky we are to have you to serve in it. I'm learning and understanding the complexity of a lot of the issues that we have to face, and you've always met them with grace and awesome jokes to help carry us through it, even through some very difficult conversations. I always appreciate you going in with an attitude that's inclusive and also collaborative. It's always collaborative, and you never shut anyone out. I really always appreciated that. Specifically working with you during Unit A contract negotiations, I felt like I'm very proud of the way that that contract landed, and it was a huge effort on my fellow committee members, but also through your leadership. And in addition, the 2030 strategic plan and bringing that to state of the town, and all of the work that we did to provide more transparency with our financials and our goals, and having those conversations with the broader community at state of the town. I think that really elevated the metrics that we bring and the reporting that we're capable of doing, and I was really proud of the work that we did there. And I'm looking forward to this year taking a very critical look at the way we're using technology in the classroom, and I appreciate you incorporating it into your goals and continuing that conversation with our community. We were just at the parent-to-parent event the other night, and a lot of concerns in our community about tech, and you were listening and you were responding, and I appreciate it that it's going to be a part of your goals for this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go next?
Yeah, sure.
It's hard to believe that it's now been almost 2 years since I came onto this committee and started working with Dr. Hackett. Most of my impressions prior to joining the committee of Dr. Hackett's leadership were based on my observations as a community member, primarily as a town meeting member. But I now have the benefit of having worked with Dr. Hackett over 2 very challenging years that were filled with a number of events and needs in the town of Winchester that demonstrated how lucky this community truly is to have such a seasoned, steady, and administratively adept leader at this time. Stephanie already talked about the state of the town process, but I would say that over the last 9+ months of having worked on that, my perspectives on Dr. Hackett's leadership skills evolved even more, and they continue to be shaped not only by my role as an elected committee member, current vice chair who gets to work with him in executive committee sessions, but are also shaped by my training as a developmental psychologist and education researcher. From that vantage point, I value leaders who combine intellectual rigor, careful use of data as evidence to draw conclusions, and whose discipline around financial management does not shy away from making hard asks when required for the benefit of students. In my view, Dr. Hackett exemplifies a unique blend of skills that beneficially match up with Winchester's needs at this time. He has clearly demonstrated steady, thoughtful leadership across the 4 DESE standards against which superintendents are measured: instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. And from a rating standpoint, my own personal evaluation that I submitted to the chair noted an exemplary rating for the 2nd standard around management and operations, because I think that's an area in which Dr. Hackett really does excel. In a period marked by post-pandemic academic recovery, fiscal pressures, complex community expectations, and an urgent need to revisit curriculum and instructional practice from a root level, Dr. Hackett, in my view, has consistently approached challenges with transparency, through data-informed decision-making, and a laser-focused commitment to continuous improvement. His stable, thoughtful, and principled leadership during this period of significant change and challenge, both locally and nationally in the field of education, is a credit to our district. His willingness to confront difficult issues, most notably the findings around district culture unearthed as part of the literacy study engaged in with an outside consultant, and more recently this fall during a challenging leadership transition here at Winchester High School, while building collaborative solutions, demonstrates a commitment to both transparency and continuous improvement. At the same time, his strong fiscal management, strategic hiring of new senior leaders throughout his tenure to build his team, his rigorous engagement with data, and his exemplary, civically minded contributions to townwide planning efforts underscore his effectiveness as an educational and community leader. From my perspective, in summary, Dr. Hackett embodies the kind of reflective and disciplined leadership that allows a strong school system not only to maintain excellence, but also to keep improving. And for all those reasons, it is my view that Dr. Hackett has continued to serve Winchester Public Schools with a keen sense of professionalism, with integrity, and a clear focus on the needs of students and families. Thank you, Dr. Hackett.
Dr. Matthews.
So, Dr. Hackett noted that just before the meeting that he can't believe that this has been 5 years in the district. And I know that this evaluation cycle reflects the last 2 years, but I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine and take us back through a little bit of the 5 years that Dr. Hackett has been in this district. Because there are few people in this room who remember back to that period of time coming just out of COVID. And what a hard time that was for the families in this district and for the teachers and staff. And choosing to come to a district just after that and knowing what you're walking into takes an extraordinary leader, because you know that you are walking into someplace that is going to have challenges, and it's going to have needs around building community and building support. And that kind of change doesn't happen even in a school district overnight. It's not something that we as a school committee can snap our fingers and say, let's build community, and it happens tomorrow. That is a more sustained change that takes time. And as an educator myself, having worked with superintendents across Massachusetts, with Dr. Ellen Emma through MCI, superintendents across Massachusetts through MCIEA, my experience in Washington State, I can say that it's a rare leader who can do that and still be a leader of change and stay with someplace over time, because that doesn't happen by just always making everybody happy all the time either. There are some tough choices that need to be made when that kind of leadership is required. And in a time when we had significant demands on our schools and our community, when we had curriculum change that needed to happen, we still are experiencing budget pressures and staff shifts and sustained public attention. Dr. Hackett has always approached decisions with steadfastness and a clear focus on what will best support students over time. And I don't think that that is recognized as the challenge that it is all the time. I've also seen how he supports and mentors staff. He listens carefully, he always explains his reasoning, and he sets high expectations while making it clear that the people doing the work are not doing the work alone. And I think that that is crucially important. that the people that are within the staff, within the community, know that this is work we have to do together. The work of a school district often falls on the shoulders of the superintendent. You take the good, you take the bad. I think that allowing everyone else to feel that they are supported is a huge value. In a profession where demands are constant, and that balance of accountability and support is what really matters. Not every decision is easy, not every outcome is universally supported, and that's the nature of public education. It moves, it shifts, it changes, and we need to be flexible and agile enough to change with it. And that's changing hearts and minds, as well as it's changing the kind of work we do day to day. So it is also notable that going through these changes and the progress that has happened, I think it's important that we continue with stability and continuity. Balancing budgets, 5 a.m. snow calls. Many of it ends up in a public forum, and every decision that we do is judged. So sustaining through those and keeping a clear focus requires stamina and a deep commitment to the purpose. And those are all qualities that Dr. Hackett has demonstrated through this cycle. Many of my colleagues have noted, and our evaluation notes, all of the things that you have been able to bring to the district through the Lynch Elementary School, having playgrounds that are not both, as we both learned, accessible and inclusive, being able to bring staff together around the literacy curriculum at a time when there was a lot of disruption around staff's feeling about that, and then having them embrace and even find joy in the work that they're doing again, is just, it's a remarkable thing to be able to do. And so I support the evaluation that Ms. Bolognese has brought forward and the remarks of my colleagues. And I hope we're able to continue with you here for many years.
Thank you.
I concur with all of that. I think a lot of the, I think I wrote the crux of it, but then I tried to feather in
You
did a
everything
lovely
that
job.
what people were saying. So I
did a
think
great
many
job
of the
with that.
thoughts that were expressed, that I said, that I read, were things that I truly felt. And then I really appreciated the feedback from all of you towards that. And then the 5 years that you have been here so far have been very fast. There's so much that's happened. And then the last 2 years are just very challenging. But I do appreciate your work with, I love every single day that I drive by Lynch on the way to the soccer field. It just gives me a little happy feeling just to see the building just standing there so beautifully. And I have really appreciated your work on the budget and with the state of the town, helping to develop the priorities and the narrative and making things so clear. The work that you've done with Mr. Marin towards the budget book, and just making that so accessible and understandable to the community. I think that it's just been a real shift over the years that you've been here, and especially in the last 2 years with our digital budget book. And as Ms. Bergstrom was saying, I very much appreciate the work that you've done, just developing your team, bringing together the right people, and then mentoring them, bringing them along. So much appreciation. And lastly, but of course it's always dear to my heart, is your support of policy. You've been very patient with us in all of our meetings. Might see a little bleary-eyed look every once in a while, but I really appreciate your support. You always add a very good practical perspective on how policy might affect the district and what other things that we ought to be thinking about. So I really appreciate your help on that. So, thank you.
My pleasure. This is always like very awkward. And I really truly appreciate the words. So what everybody doesn't see is how hard you all work. And I think that, you know, I'm only able to do some of the things that we've done because we have such dedicated school committee, such talented staff, the people who are sitting here at this table, just the countless hours, the numbers of conversations we have trying to solve problems that we never can talk about out loud anywhere else, and trying to always stay as clear as we can about making this better for kids. And I think I've really honestly never been anywhere that there is such that singular focus. You all have different skills and talents, and that's what makes you a great team, from policy to all the other things that you do and that you bring. But the hours that you spend, without you doing that, that would fall on us, and there's just no way we could do it. So I just, you know, I deeply appreciate the support, but the support not just in what you said tonight, but the support in you take on the work, and you do things that I would never be able to do. And you, I've learned from all of you. I have done this a long time, and I asked the chair to not put in the number of years that I've done it, because it just really made me feel, holy cow. But I have never been anywhere that has pushed me harder, that has challenged me in ways that I have not necessarily experienced. And it's been super difficult, challenging, but it's also been invigorating to realize that, you know, just when you think you have seen it all, you just have not. And, you know, it has made me better. And I think I have definitely made my share of mistakes. I have gone down paths that I didn't quite necessarily understand where I was going, and you pulled me out. But I think it's because we all are able to be reflective in it and talk about the fact that we don't necessarily always have the answers, and we're not always necessarily going in the right direction, and our ability to pull back from that and shift, which is frustrating, I think, for some people. But it's just critical, and it can only happen because you support that. So I never feel like I'm in a situation where I can't say, you know what, that was not good, let's restart, and I would not do that again. I think my experience has allowed me not to have to say that too many times, but I have just learned a tremendous amount. This has been the most professionally challenging but professionally gratifying superintendency that I've ever been a part of. And this community is incredibly supportive. This community is tough, and they challenge, and I like it at the same time, as hard as it is, because it just makes you think as a leader. You know, you have to really try to figure out how to manage all those voices, and everybody has, whether you like how they're saying it. I've not really had any conversations or had people talking at me where there hasn't been something that I can pull out and say that does make sense, and we need to look at that. And I think, you know, as long as we stay open to that, and that we're willing to work with that, and everyone has a voice, and they're not always going to like the decisions we make, and they may not feel listened to, but I think that that's not the case. I think this group does listen. I think we listen, and I think we made that a priority. And you know, it's a great place to work. It's just a tremendous staff and great teachers and great students and great families, and so much of what, you know, I'm lucky to have the team that I have, because I don't think you could do this work without that. So I truly appreciate it. I look forward to the next couple of years. I think I've got a, you know, there's some definitely very clear goals that, and then also just the joy of knowing that there'll be things that will come along that you're not expecting, and trying to figure out how to do that. So, but, you know, as we work toward next year and we do the literacy implementation, and, you know, I think it's exciting. So I look forward to all of it, and I look forward to seeing where this spring takes us all. So, thank you.
I did want to add one thing that I didn't think would make sense to include in my evaluation, but as we were going through the state of the town process, we kind of expanded the amount of reporting that we provided. You know, the select board and FinCom and everyone that was around that table, and it was really well received. And in order to make that repeatable, I feel like your office needs more support, right? So we've set the standard where we've delivered that 148-page document, and I think that it was very well received, and something that I hope that we continue to do, you know, state of the town override or not, but to continue that, that level of transparency. And in order to do so, I feel like you need more support, and your office needs more
Thank you for
support.
saying it out loud.
I appreciate you saying
Very
that.
Yeah, so it's not specific to your, well, I guess it is tied to your performance on state of the town, but ways that we can continue to do that. Knowing that this is a once in a while state of the town thing, but really making it part of our annual budget process.
I appreciate you saying that. I think that, you know, the first few years was just trying to understand what's going on, getting our feet underneath us, facing, you know,
Getting
facing
people
a lot
back in
of-
the classroom.
right, and it was hard to, it often felt, I often felt like I as a leader, I'll speak for myself, often felt like I was having to be in response and not being able to be proactive, and being able to start really moving forward in a different way. There was just a lot of healing and that just needed to happen. And, you know, that was true everywhere, right? So, but I really feel like the state of the town was a big reset button. I think the ability to share that kind of information with so many people around the table, and not just me or a couple of us going in to a FinCon group or to a group of, and exposing all of it, and not getting good reception for it and appreciation
Right.
for it, as opposed to being
Pushback.
worried that if I say this out loud, then the budget's gonna get cut, or we're gonna, you know, so I hope that it's my intent to keep that going. And I think that, you know, that we need to kind of, and as we go forward, I'll be coming back to you with my recommendations, what I think the goals are. You'll, I'm sure, share with me what you think about those, and we'll work through that, and then we'll be, I think that will be one of them, just to really try to continue that process. Thank you.
Ms. Mignardi, I'd say that that's a two-way street, too.
What?
The collaboration and
Oh,
the
yes,
reception.
yes.
Like, I think that it's important that both the town and the schools work towards having reception like that
Yes.
on a regular basis, that it's about the giving of and receiving of information, and the way in which we do that, too, that matters. And I know there's what often trite, budgets match our values, right? And I think you bring up supporting more support staff for the central office. And as school committees, our challenge often is, even with override budgets, of how the money is going to be spent and what we prioritize.
Right.
And if the community wants more transparency, I think they're going to have to also accept that we need more support on this side to be able to do that. 'Cause
And I
it's
think that's what
such
was-
a tremendous amount of
That's,
work.
I don't think that was just my opinion or Tim's opinion or
No.
just not school committee members, but everyone around there
Right.
appreciated the effort that our central
Right,
office
that's what I'm
put
saying. I
into
hope
that.
we can continue
Yeah.
that, and that if we're going to, that the budget matches that the budgets we create here match that value.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, just in response to your comment, Ms. Minyarji, that, I think that the biggest challenge, there were a number of what I would characterize as generationally significant post-fact effects of COVID, right? And we all know across schools, across this country, around the world, what those were. But it also had a very particular effect in Winchester because of the ways in which we have leanly budgeted in the past, the ways in which we have expected, volunteer committee members to double as people contributing essentially staff hours to projects, right? And the sort of number of hour expectations we have of our central office employees, which far exceed a standard 40-hour work week, right? I mean, I think you and I and those who were participating in the state of the town know very well exactly how many hours it took and how it was way above and beyond for our staff members who were involved in that, what anybody would reasonably expect them to be able to do. And I didn't say this explicitly tonight, but it was in my evaluation that I shared with the chair. I think that was, from a management and administrative, I always forget what the exact wording of that particular.
Management and operations,
Management and
right?
operations, what that particular standard is. But, the reason why I rated Dr. Hackett as exemplary on that is because I can't imagine having gone through the state of the town process that we went through in a district that is as leanly staffed from an administration and finance perspective as ours is, without the two individuals sitting at the corner of the table over here who, really did the vast majority of the work, right, to make sure that all of the materials that we needed to be able to present on a weekly or biweekly basis were in our hands by the time we needed them. And that was not an insignificant
Tremendous
task.
amount of work.
It almost broke us.
Correct. All of us. I mean, the
Like,
volunteers
absolutely.
too, right? Because
Like, the turnaround time
we were
is just
taking things from you and trying to spin them
It was a
into
lot.
presentations
Right.
and analyses and stuff like that. It was a very beneficial mutual cycle. But like,
It was intense.
I don't have access to many of the tools because they have FERPA protected student data in them. And so at the end of the day, we don't have anyone else to turn to but someone who's employed by the district and has the ability to look into those data. So that was, for me, I think, a really eye-opening, 9
And
months.
historically, Dr. Matthews, too, in the 2018-2019 override, the same amount of work was required by the previous superintendent, too. So I think the lesson is, experience. If that's the level of information that we're going to provide, then we need the support person to be able to provide that, because we do want to be able to do technology. We do want to be able to investigate math curriculum and implement that. And if our leadership is, if those two leaders, if all they're doing is finance and operations, it doesn't leave a huge amount of capacity to be able to focus on the other things that impact the
Right.
classroom day to day.
Yeah. So I think this is a great topic for further discussion when it comes to goal setting and our, sort of joint vision as a committee as we move forward through the next year. And there's just, I think, a lot to continue talking about. I think we did a lot of great work, particularly last summer in the workshop sessions we did. But I think we're going to have to,
Dig in.
dig in even more. I mean, there's a
It's a cycle.
time point we will be crossing on at 8 p.m. on Saturday that makes things different than the way they were before. And I think, that will leave us in different situations potentially.
Hopefully.
There are different paths that we, of what this committee may need to confront in the next years. So, do we need,
Right.
Madam Chair, do we need a motion?
Need a motion to accept the summative evaluation for Dr. Hackett.
An evaluation cycle.
Yes, and the evaluation
moved.
cycle. The biannual.
I just have a
are we-
quick question. So the
Yes.
next evaluation will be in 28,
Right.
Correct.
March,
2028.
March in 2028? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to second that.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the vote is unanimous.
Thank you,
so
Dr.
much.
Hackett.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dr. Hackett.
thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you to everyone for all your feedback and getting it to me.
Thank you for putting it together. I know it was a lot of work. I didn't realize it until I saw the DESE requirements, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to take a while.
It's intense.
It does. I'm going to
But happily
compliment
done.
Ms. Bolognese again. I told her personally when I read it, but it's also a tremendous amount of work to take the work of
Multiple
the other
people.
4 school committee members
Yes.
and reflect your ideas and what you have contributed to that and make it sound like one cohesive document. So just huge thank you to you for being able to take the time to do that. And I know I could tell Dr. Matthews felt what he said was reflected in the document, as did I, and I hope Ms. Minyarji did as well. But,
Really tried,
No, you did a great job.
did a
You
great
really did.
job.
but thank you.
With a really strangely written in some ways rubric, so
Oh, that rubric.
it is not my
Plus your
favorite.
rubrics are fun.
It's not my favorite rubric
Teachers
that I've
love them
ever
too.
worked with, so.
I enjoyed reading everybody's evaluations.
Admittedly, I was probably the last person to submit, and Karen was like, Steph, come on. And so I text her, I'm like, state of the town was awesome. I can't wait to work on more tech, 5 stars. Does that work?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like an Uber driver kind of thing, you know.
I mean,
Please rate me.
it could drive you,
fly.
it could drive you up a wall to try and actually do it as an individual committee member using the rubric itself and filling everything. It's
Yeah.
just,
I think I've tried that one.
I tried it, yeah. It's,
We used
I
to
like
do
the
it that way
narrative.
every year.
I would, cause, yeah.
So,
So my recommendation to future committee members, whoever they may be, is, in 2028 is, don't try to just strictly work with the rubric because you'll pull all your hair
You'll
out.
rip your hair out.
So.
Absolutely agree. So, yes, well, thank you. And let's see, moving right along, we have our Springtown meeting update. We have an article to support literacy curriculum implementation for 2026 to 2027. I'm going to give this to Dr. Hackett.
You are, okay.
Well, I mean,
Do you want me to-
As,
Yeah, that's,
you know-
I'm also happy to just make.
go
a
ahead,
motion.
I'd rather
Yeah.
have, yeah.
okay.
So, I would make, so I'm going to make 2 motions, actually. So one of them is that we sponsor, co-sponsor, recommend to the select board that we co-sponsor an article, motion and background for Springtown meeting as follows. And I'll quickly read this into the record because I know I'm required to do that. The article is to see if the town will vote to appropriate or transfer from free cash or other available funds a sum of money for the purchase and implementation of a comprehensive K-5 elementary literacy curriculum as recommended by the early literacy team after a 2-year process that concluded with a pilot initiative during the 2025-26 school year. The funds are to be expended under the direction of the superintendent of schools for the acquisition of curriculum materials, instructional resources, assessment tools, and other implementation supports necessary to carry out the program or take any other action in relation thereto. We further recommend that the motion read as follows: moved and seconded that the town vote to appropriate a number from free cash for the purchase and implementation of a comprehensive K-5 elementary literacy curriculum as recommended by the early literacy team, ELT. The funds are to be expended under the direction of the superintendent of schools for the acquisition of curriculum materials, instructional resources, assessment tools, and other implementation supports necessary to carry out the program. And we further recommend that the background read as follows. The Winchester Public Schools conducted an early literacy pilot initiative during the 2025-2026 school year led by the early literacy team, ELT, which included educators, literacy specialists, and external consultants. The pilot was the final phase of a 2-year review process undertaken in response to community concerns and documented deficiencies in the district's early literacy curriculum and outcomes. 2 curricula were piloted, Arts and Letters by Great Minds and the EL K-5 Language Arts curriculum by EL Education. Based on the pilot's findings, the ELT recommended blank and associate instructional resources as the foundation for a coherent, evidence-based early literacy program across the district. This recommendation is supported by an independent evaluation conducted by the Collaborative for Educational Services, CES, which drew on 8 data sources including surveys, focus groups, classroom observations, and written reflections from approximately 152 educators, representing roughly 89% of the elementary workforce, as well as feedback from nearly 400 students and 149 families across all 5 elementary schools. Funding is required to purchase curriculum materials, related assessments, and implementation supports so the district can move from full pilot testing to full implementation in the 2026-27 school year. Because this is a one-time initial capital investment to establish the curriculum and related resources and not an ongoing operating expense, this request is appropriately funded through free cash rather than the override budget. Adoption of the selected curriculum will provide consistency across classrooms and grade levels, advance evidence-based reading instruction, and strengthen the district's ability to monitor student progress and respond to individual literacy needs across all K-5 schools.
Second.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Why is it that we, and I'm assuming, did the council help draft this? Or?
No,
No.
not the
So,
background.
The line, this request is appropriately funded through free cash rather than the override budget. The override budget is designated as the one that we submitted to the town manager with 5% level services plus a 2.3.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And obviously, there's,
So rather than call it the override budget, do we want to call it the operating budget?
We could call it the FY27 school committee recommended budget.
Or you could just stop at free cash.
Okay.
yeah, I think that's a good,
Would you like to make?
because I mean, there's money, obviously, there is funding in the override ask that is going to support literacy.
Right. So that's why I
There
think.
Separate
will
and
be
apart from
ongoing
this.
costs at some point, right? But
But later on,
But
right.
later
This
on.
is- Yeah, so let's just stop it at
yeah,
free
I think
cash.
that's a good, that's very, that's a
Full
good.
Do you want to make
suggestion.
that, do you want to make that amendment motion?
Friendly amendment, is that?
Friendly
considered?
amendment,
A
yep.
friendly amendment to remove, to strike rather than the override budget from the background.
Second.
Give it to you.
All in favor of the amendment? and
Aye.
the-
Aye.
Yes,
Aye.
aye. The chair votes aye. Do we have to do that separately? So the amendment, so the
And-
amendment. passed.
So
And to be fair,
motion
the
to remove-
background can change if we want to add or amend it much later than the motion or the
But it's
article.
The problem is it's coming up quickly.
Yeah, it is.
and we're
I'm just
hoping to
saying
do
that
Block it
this-
up.
it's,
Yeah,
we have more
yeah.
flexibility around the
Yeah,
background.
we should button it up. So do you want me to make a motion?
You don't have to.
All right.
No, I think we're good.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
We just
actually,
had to
I think
make
we
it
Now
are
it's
covered.
amended, so now we just have to vote on the actual main.
Okay.
Motion.
Yes.
Okay, so any more discussion on the amended?
No, I just want to say I'm hoping that, the co-sponsorship with the select board is possible. I think, it sounds like it is, but
I heard that they would be taking it up likely in
And-
March 30th. end of
Correct,
March.
and we want to make sure that they'll need to take it up before the deadline for submitting the motion language and background.
Yes.
Which I believe may be before that meeting, so I'm not sure exactly when they're going to take it up, but I'm trusting that this is sort of us giving them our language so that they then, when they put the co-sponsorship together, they can make the ultimate put together the same motion and background that we voted. So,
I can't think of any reason why they would.
I can't either, but since it right now rests with
But
them.
saying it out loud
Correct,
always helps.
just, I want to make sure it's very prescriptive that we've put this together. And just to be clear, Dr. Hackett based this on the work, the motion and background from the pilot. So it's not new, so this is very similar to what happened last time. So I think we still need to take a vote on the main.
I just want to add one thing for the public. So the recommendation will come to you at your meeting on the 26th.
That was going to be my only question for
Yeah.
you,
We
so.
know what it is, but we can't talk about it. So I've been told by Ms. Kirby that I can't say anything.
It's embargoed
Yep,
information.
yep. And then that will obviously define the number too, so.
Which is part of the.
Okay. And
what-
is there a deadline for providing that number?
I'm assuming it's the deadline that,
The deadline when.
When they print the book.
when they
Yeah.
print, when the
Okay.
motion and background are due for the printing of the book.
Okay.
This is a very kludgy situation because it's obviously,
After the warrant's officially
we're,
closed.
the timing is just
Yeah. it's-
terrible.
Right.
So, because the recommendation is coming more or less in the nick of time based on,
I'm excited.
Based on the timing.
Basically,
Right.
yeah.
based on the situation.
How fortuitous. All right.
So,
So I believe we have the motion on the table and a second, so all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the vote is unanimous.
And then my second motion would be, in the event that the select board were not to accept the co-sponsorship, that the school committee wholeheartedly endorse the article for providing funding for the K-5 evidence-based literacy curriculum at Springtown meeting.
Second. I was gonna ask you.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote is unanimous. All right.
That should feel very good to all of you. It feels good to me.
Well, it's nice to know that our literacy curriculum will actually be funded.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, pending,
not out of
pending
our
town meeting approval.
Pending
Yes,
town meeting
pending
approval,
town meeting.
right.
That's right.
Because otherwise, that override ask might have been a little bit higher.
All righty, moving right along. Next up, we have consideration of policy updates, and there are many. They are listed in your agenda. We have policies that have no changes, and these are mainly for your reference, because the policy subcommittee had already reviewed these. We will pull from that tranche IMA on teaching activities and presentations. And then I would just ask that we include JIB, student involvement and decision-making, and JIIB, interscholastic athletics. They were included under the updates, but they had no changes, so they should be here. We also have policies with MASC updates. That is a very long list. And the only one here that we would pull is IKF on graduation requirements. I'd say that we should table that because that is still under review with Dr. Ellen Emma and the high school leadership. Let's see, policies for addition and policies for deletion. And KEB is written twice in that list, so just pull one of those. And that's
Mr.
Your-
Matthew, Dr.
Yeah,
Matthews,
yes.
would you like to make that motion?
Oh, goodness me. All right, Madam Chair, can you hand me your notebook for a second? Sorry, with your pen. Can I just, or a sheet of paper? And can you tell me again the ones we're removing from this list so that I can?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So.
Or we can say, as Ms. Bolognese has stated, with policies removed as stated by the chair.
Yes,
As presented.
that sounds
Yes.
great to me.
That's nice and
I would
efficient.
be happy to move that we accept the policy updates, including policies with no changes, policies with MASC updates, policies for addition, and policies for deletion, as presented in the agenda, with the exceptions just enumerated by our chair.
Second.
Thank you. All in
You're
favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, and the vote is unanimous
Excellent.
on those policies. And then we have a first reading of policy subcommittee updates, because you just couldn't stop there.
Some of us could have.
Yeah.
So can I take this one?
Go
Because
for
I
it.
actually, so a large part of this was some
yes.
work that we did at the last policy subcommittee meeting this week. I spent some very significant time with all of the IJ policies, which relate to how we select, use, and deal with any situations where there are issues with instructional materials used across the district. What I found in doing that, as the chair has worked on prior to me even coming on the committee 2 years ago, was that, you know, it is very clear to me that there was a very particular set of circumstances happening at the time these policies were last reviewed in 2015. And a lot of things that were added in are either Winchester-specific things that were us actually literally writing down documents that are live and updated by other organizations, which meant that in the 11 years since they were last updated, those organizations' policies that we committed to writing in our policy manual were not even, what we had in our policy manual wasn't even up to date or live with the changes that they'd made in the last 11 years. And also on top of that, there were things in there that ironically, just after the last time Winchester reviewed its policies, had been deleted by MASC as a recommendation from their model policy manual. And so I would say that almost all of the things that are for first reading tonight are pretty much, except for the policies for addition around service animals and animals in schools and parent advisory councils, sort of fall into the character, could be characterized rather as things that we were just cleaning up basically to align us with more or less 11 years of changes in the MASC policy manual, and making sure that we don't create hooks in our policy manual to things that then don't get updated in real time. So the references, it's fine to have references to those things, but to actually have them copied as Winchester specific or Winchester only additional policies did not make a lot of sense to the members of your policy subcommittee. So look
Like
forward
the
to.
library bill of rights.
Correct.
Was copied in, and
You
I went
know.
and looked, and it was actually all the same, but there was an extra bullet point.
Correct, so they had like added the
Yeah.
new bullet
So-
points since
but
the
we
last
just
time it was
wouldn't know.
updated, so it's
So,
just, I mean, I think our joint vote was that we should not be creating situations where things could become stale immediately. We should really try to
And I
have sort of
yeah.
core policies that then have references to other things, and you can go and find those live documents elsewhere.
Can I ask the policy subcommittee a question?
Sure.
Of course.
Is there a plan once the policy manual is complete to make it more accessible online too, to make it easier to search? Are we gonna
Why?
post to the MASC site?
You want to see
Yes.
someone smile.
Yeah, because that would be
Did I
lovely.
smile from the
Do it.
back of my
I
head?
couldn't tell, I could see the whole.
The little jiggle. Actually, yes, there is. So fancy that you asked. So, the Massachusetts Association of School Committees maintains an online policy manual. And all of our work has been just comparing our manual, which is also online, but on our district, to that manual. And the plan is, once we get most of our policy manual updated, which I think it might be reaching that point,
Soon, we're getting close.
we are going to move, we're in the process of working with the MASC to move it over to the MASC. So it will be on the, it will be searchable on the MASC's website, updatable, and accessible.
And that's also lovely, because then it's easy to compare our policy
Yes.
manual on the MASC site versus any other district that also has theirs posted. So it's really easy for the community to
Much
do a
easier.
quick search and be able to say, oh, that's
Mhm.
not an outlier policy, it looks just like the policy
Yep.
that Arlington has on
Yep.
that. So that's cool. I'm glad we're gonna be able to
Yeah,
finally do that.
really excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Yay.
Yay.
We may be
Yay.
the only two excited about that.
I'm really excited about it.
I mean, it's just.
Andrew's excited about it.
Bye,
Yeah.
Ingo.
Thank you so much, Ingo.
You don't have to do an Irish exit, it's okay, we can.
Just sticking that out.
That was amazing.
So there's no need for a vote this evening. There is a memo in the binder just about the policy, just about these updates. Unfortunately, in the memo, section F policies, there are 3 section F policies that we had in for updates, but I missed putting it onto the agenda. So,
That's okay.
but another
There's
time.
always next time.
That is right, another time.
We've had a lot of very exciting policy updates.
Oh, they're so exciting. So, all right, next meetings, we are adding in an executive session on Monday, March 23rd. So thank you very much. It will be at 3:30 PM. And then we have our next meeting on
It's
March.
actually it's a brief public meeting followed by an
Brief public
executive
meeting,
session.
that is true.
For reorganization.
Executive
For-
session.
Consideration.
For consideration of reorganization as statutorily mandated. So,
And that's on Monday or on the 26th?
so
That's on the
the only
Monday.
reason why we have to hold the public session is because
You can do it.
we are mandated to
Oh,
consider or defer reorganization at our first public meeting after the election. And so I'm hoping with the committee's consent, we might be able to defer that, but we're statutorily required to have that in public session regardless. And so the timing is just, I mean, your chair and vice chair have had multiple thoughts about how to handle this, but this is, from a OML perspective, this was the one that was required. Cleanest,
All right.
yeah.
most
Regarding the
transparent.
meeting on the 26th, will the ELT be presenting?
Yes, that is correct. I was
It
going
will
to
be a collection of,
It'll be teachers, representatives from the ELT, all members of that
'Cause I love seeing all of the sample work and testimonials
Yeah.
from the teachers. Oh, I can't.
Love the student work. Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
It's going to
The
be
community's waited
fantastic.
so long.
Is that in person or virtual?
In person.
person.
Okay.
I think
Here?
CES is going to be here
Yes.
too.
Are we doing it
We
here?
don't know if CS is going to be here yet, but it'll be in
Looking
person
forward
here.
to it.
Is it in person
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And with that,
I would be happy to make a motion to adjourn. Oh, with tremendous thanks to Ms. Bergstrom.
Well, and I would just like to take a minute.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Before,
I'm gonna
before
close
we
my
go.
laptop.
oh yeah.
What? You were so close, Lori, I'm sorry.
I said I'm gonna close my laptop
Oh,
to
it's
give you
you.
my. Yeah. I said I'm gonna close my laptop. I'm gonna close my laptop to give you all my attention.
It's okay. I just wanted to take a minute and thank the teachers and staff and administrators that I've worked with for the last 9 years. They show up for kids every day. We show up every other Thursday, but they show up every day to do this work with the kids. And we wouldn't be here without them. And so I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you. They're the backbone of this district. And our progress really reflects their commitment. So we're not able to make progress without a school committee, without the partnership of our leadership team and our teachers in the district. So their creativity, their belief that every student can be their best and do their best with the right support is tremendous. And I just wanted to thank them for treating the school committees that I have been on in the last 9 years as true partners in that process. And thank you to all of you who have also dealt with my late night emails with education research and the things that I'm excited about that has been current in education. And as thought partners in that, it has really made me a better school committee member to not only be able to have budget and finance conversations with people who are experts in that, but also with the curriculum leaders in this district, because they push our thinking. A lot of people think that they know how to be educators, and because they've been parents, and unless they've sat in the seat, stood in front of a classroom, or done the job, it really takes us listening to the people who are on the front line every day and working with our kids to be able to bring that to us to make us do our work better. I want to thank all of you as fellow committee members, to Mr. Nixon, who is here. I've worked with Mr. Brady, and way back with Mr. Linsky and Ms. Boney. And we sometimes forget the committee members that come before us that have laid the groundwork in one way or the other. But our district wouldn't be as strong as it is without them either. So I appreciate the work that I have done with them and everything that I've learned about concrete from Mr. Nixon. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done together, and while we don't always agree on every issue or everything that comes before us, I think it is the respect that we have for each other and the belief we have in each other, as Dr. Hackett said, that we all bring different things to this work. And I hope that whoever replaces me in this seat comes to this seat humble and ready to listen and learn. Somebody once gave me the advice that my first month on school committee, I shouldn't open my mouth. And honestly, it was some of the best advice I ever got, because it allowed me the time to get to know the people that I was going to work with and to build relationships with them. And that instead of, while I certainly had a long agenda after replacing a school committee member that had been on this committee 12 years before me, that it gave me the opportunity to build relationships with people who already had a relationship with each other. So even when you think you know people, you don't know them as well as you do when you have to solve problems together.
That is true.
So I hope you continue to collaborate and keep students at the center of all that you do. Remember that they are the ones who come first, not the politics. So There is also a lot of division in the country and in the world right now. There's a lot of work that is going to need to be done with kids and families and supporting them and making sure that they feel safe, secure, and appreciated and loved in our district. And I hope that this committee keeps that in mind and that we can prove to them that this is a place where people come together and people do not feel marginalized or left out from any of the work that you do. So you do serious work, you really do, and it's been an honor to serve alongside all of you and work with you for as long as different ones for different amounts of time, but all the same. I've learned something from every person around this table, so thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
It's all yours.
Want a motion to adjourn?
We need a second still, though.
Second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned. 6:58.
Yeah.